Long ago, when the rains came faithfully and the grass grew tall as a man's chest, a tortoise and a baboon were the dearest of friends. One was slow and close to the earth, the other quick and high in the trees. Yet they passed their days together as easily as brothers. Where the tortoise crawled, the baboon ambled beside him, and where the baboon climbed, he would gather sweet fruit and toss it down to his friend below. But the seasons turn, as seasons must. One year the clouds drifted over the plain without ever breaking, and the whole land grew thirsty. The wide river shrank to a thin brown thread. The grass curled and yellowed and crumbled to dust underfoot. Hunger settled over every living thing like a slow grey tide. The herds grew thin. The birds fell silent. Even the baboon, who could reach the highest branches, found the trees standing nearly bare. Now the baboon was a clever creature, perhaps a little too clever for his own good. In his wanderings, he had discovered one last tree, far out across the plain, still heavy with ripe and golden fruit. He told no one of his secret. But after some days, a strange idea took hold of him. One morning, he came smiling to the tortoise and said, "My friend, you have grown so thin. Come and dine with me tomorrow." The tortoise was so moved by this kindness that his old eyes filled with tears. "In a hard season like this one," he said, "a true friend is worth more than a granary full of grain." That night, he slept poorly with excitement, and at the very first light of dawn, he set out across the cracked and broken earth, walking and walking and walking, while the sun climbed higher and his short legs ached beneath him. By the middle of the day, he reached the tree the baboon had described, and what a tree it was! It stood tall and impossibly green against the bleached and dusty plain. Its branches bowed low under fruit, so ripe that the very air around it turned sweet. High in the leaves sat the baboon, his long tail curled, grinning down at his friend. "You came," he called. "Wonderful. Climb up now and let us feast together." The tortoise lifted his head and looked up the long, smooth, branchless trunk, and his heart sank slowly in his chest. "You know that I cannot climb," he said quietly. "My legs are short, and my shell is heavy upon my back. Come down, I beg you, and let us share this fruit here on the ground, the way that we have always shared everything between us." But the baboon only laughed, long and easy and cold. "If you wish to eat," the baboon said, "then you must climb." And without another word, he began to feast. He plucked the ripest, fattest fruit and ate it slowly, letting the juice run sweet down his chin. He smacked his lips. He sighed aloud with pleasure. And down below, the tortoise circled the great trunk again and again, searching for a foothold that simply was not there, while his empty stomach twisted and groaned with hunger. "Throw something down to me," the tortoise begged at last. "Just one piece, my friend. I have walked since before the sun rose." The baboon paused, a half-eaten fruit held loosely in his hand. He gazed down at the small creature in the dust beneath him, and then, slowly and deliberately, he let fall the bare core. Not the fruit, but only the spat-out seed and skin. "There," he said. "Now you have eaten as well." The tortoise did not shout. He did not weep, nor did he beg again. He only looked up one last time at the baboon laughing high in the branches, and something deep within his old heart grew very quiet and very still and very calm. "Thank you for the meal, my friend," he said softly. Then he turned and began the long walk home across the empty plain, the baboon's laughter slowly fading at his back, All the long way home, the tortoise thought. He was not a creature given to anger, and he wished his friend no real harm. But he believed, in the depths of his ancient heart, that a lesson owed must one day be a lesson repaid. The dry season ground slowly on, and then, one cool evening, the wind at last began to shift, and the first soft rain in many months came whispering down upon the parched and waiting earth. The river rose and ran full once more. The grass returned, green and tender and new, and in a low, damp hollow that only a creature who lived close to the soil would ever think to search, the tortoise found a hidden patch of fresh roots and sweet young shoots, far more than he could ever hope to eat alone. He gathered them with care. He cleaned them and laid them out. And then he sent word across the plain. The baboon came at once, and he came quickly too, for word had reached him that there was food to be had. He bounded across the soft new grass, his mouth already watering at the thought, and found the tortoise waiting beside a fine and generous spread of roots and tender greens. "My friend," the baboon cried, "you are far too good to me. Let us not waste a single moment. Come, let us sit and eat." "Of course," said the tortoise, gently and kindly. "But first, you have run a very long way, and your hands are filthy from the road. Here in my home, we do not touch good food with dirty hands. Go down to the river there, wash them clean and bright, and then return and eat your fill." And the baboon, eager and hungry and suspecting nothing at all, hurried off at once toward the water's edge. He scrubbed his hands until they fairly shone, then came bounding back across the wet and softened ground toward the waiting meal. But the rain had turned the whole hollow to thick, dark mud, and by the time he returned, his palms were streaked and brown all over again. The tortoise studied them and shook his head slowly and sadly. "They are still dirty," he said. "I cannot let you eat like this. Go and wash once more." And so the baboon went again, and then again. Each time he crossed that muddy stretch of earth, his hands came back filthier than before, and each time he raced down to the river and back, the tortoise, small and clean and close to the ground, quietly took his fill. A root here, a shoot there, slowly, calmly, without hurry, while the baboon dashed back and forth across the hollow, growing tired and confused and ever hungrier. By the time the baboon finally understood, it was far too late. He came back panting, his hands at last washed perfectly clean, and found the wide spread very nearly bare. Only bitten stems and scattered scraps remained, and there, in the middle of them, sat the tortoise, full and round and deeply content, blinking up at his old friend with a calm and steady gaze. "You ate it," the baboon whispered. "You ate every last bit." "I shared what I had," the tortoise answered evenly, "in exactly the way that you once shared with me. You sent me round and round your tree in the heat until you had eaten your fill, and so I have sent you round and round the river until I have eaten mine. We are even now, you and I." The baboon opened his mouth to argue, and found that he had nothing left to say. For a long while the two old friends simply looked at one another across the bare and empty leaves, and slowly the baboon's anger drained away, and in its place there rose something quieter and far heavier, shame perhaps, and at last a true understanding. He thought of the tortoise crawling round that distant tree beneath the burning sun, and he lowered his eyes. "I was cruel to you," he admitted, "and now you have shown me how it felt." The tortoise nodded slowly. And then, to the baboon's great surprise, he nudged the last few roots gently across the ground toward him. "There is enough," he said simply. "There always was enough, my friend. Sit down now and eat, and let us never again do such things to one another." And the baboon, humbled at last, sat quietly down beside the tortoise in the fresh green grass, and the two old friends shared the last of the meal in peace. And so the old ones say, even now, when they gather to tell this tale beside the evening fire, that whatever you choose to serve a friend will one day be served right back to you. Kindness returns to us as kindness. Cruelty returns to us as cruelty. And the wise creature, like the patient tortoise, never forgets a simple truth, that even the one who cannot climb may carry a very long memory.